This is ABC7 News at 11, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Another bone-chilling night here on the Suncoast. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
Thanks, Jacqueline. Yes, another cold one it is. Temperatures actually have warmed up the last hour or so. It was down to 49. It's back up to 51 now at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. The major winter storm is still raging across parts of the northern New England states, but it is starting to wind down across much of the rest of the U.S., but that cold air lingers, and it looks like we will continue to see the cold air around for at least 48 hours, and then things will start to warm up on Sunday. Well, there it is. Blizzard warning still in effect for Maine all the way down to Vermont, and it's for us. The freeze warning is in effect. That's a freeze warning in effect for areas east of I-75 here. A hard freeze to the north of us, meaning temperatures will drop below 27 degrees there for a couple of hours, which is dangerous to the citrus industry. And then for us, the temperatures for inland counties mainly and east of I-75 will be right around 27 to 32. That's the freeze warning. Along the immediate coast, we're looking for temperatures right around 35 to 40 degrees. Still, there's a possibility of some patchy frost in some wind-protected areas tomorrow, even outside of the freeze warning. Now, temperature I mentioned has popped up a couple degrees just in the past hour. It's 51, and it's 32, though, in Tallahassee, 34 in Jacksonville. You factor in the wind, it's into the mid-20s to the north of us right now. Still fairly warm in the Keys. North winds and northwest winds out on the water is a little stronger there, anywhere from 5 to 10 right over the mainland, and that continues down south into South Sarasota County. Venice, 9-mile-an-hour out of the north-northeast. Northport, you're at 4. And so not as windy tonight. Thus, the wind chill factor is not as big of a deal, but it's still cold for Florida standards. Well, more in our forecast. Let you know about that warm-up heading our way by the weekend coming up in a few minutes. Jacqueline?
All right, sounds like some good news. Thank you, Bob. Well, these cold days and nights have been tough for homeless people living on the Suncoast. Cold weather shelters on the Suncoast remain available and open to help get people off the street and into a warm place. ABC7's Rick Adams has more from one of those shelters in Sarasota.
Well, it does remain brutally cold out here. Many folks are taking advantage of the cold weather shelter back there at the Salvation Army, but there are some who are braving the elements and staying outside. For Ricky Ann Wilker and her fiancé Sean Kalaki, the cold weather shelter at the Salvation Army in Sarasota has been a godsend. If it wasn't for the shelter, they would be out in the cold.
The gratitude that I have is overwhelming. I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't have the Salvation Army the last couple days.
The food and the warmth, just, it's not always comfortable, but it's always here.
Some of the homeless have decided to stay out on the street and in the cold. Roseanne tells us the cold weather shelters are too loud and uncomfortable for her. So she says she's happy staying outside despite these frigid temperatures.
We just hunker down. We got sleeping bags and blankets. Look at people could keep giving us food, so we're never hungry.
The people who do utilize the shelter not only have a warm place to stay with bedding, but they also receive free hot meals. There is no cost during these cold weather nights, and it has brought in hundreds of folks each night.
For anybody in the community that, you know, there is an issue with the cold weather and might not have a place to go, our doors are open for anyone.
Several places in Sarasota and Manatee County continue to offer free shelters to get in from the cold. They are listed right there on your screen. And we're being told the cold weather shelters will be open again on Friday night, including this one here at the Salvation Army. Reporting from Sarasota, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Okay, thank you so much, Rick. As Florida experiences those unusually cold temperatures and even snow in some parts of the Sunshine State, wildlife officials are keeping a close eye on vulnerable manatees and sea turtles. When temperatures drop, cold-stunned sea turtles may float lifelessly in the water on or near shore. They may appear dead but are often still alive. Mote Marine Laboratory and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission are on high alert to help, and they ask for you to be vigilant about calling when you see a manatee or sea turtle in need of help.
When the weather dips down like this, we kind of go on high alert. We expect to see cold-stranded or cold-stressed sea turtles, manatees primarily. We start getting concerned when waters dip down for manatees below 68 and for sea turtles below 50, but they can start showing signs prior to that. So we just kind of stay on high alert, waiting to see if they start getting affected.
And in South Florida, the winter temperatures are so cold, iguanas are literally falling from trees. The animals may look dead, but experts say they are likely stunned by the cold weather. The reptile keeper at the Palm Beach County Zoo says the cold-blooded invasive species freeze when it gets below 45 degrees.
If it's just for a day or two, they will just get to where they are completely frozen in time. They're still able to breathe. They're still able to do bodily functions, just very slow.
But if the temperatures do dip below 45 degrees for more than 2 days, the iguanas will likely die, often from pneumonia. Well, some breaking news tonight in Bradenton, where an apartment building caught fire. The fire started at Sunchase Apartments off of 59th Street West. Fire officials say the call came in around 6:30 this evening and the fire was under control by 6:45. There are 8 apartments in that building, the fire heavily damaging 4 of those apartments, while 4 others suffered smoke damage. 10 fire trucks and over 2 dozen firefighters responded to the scene. The Red Cross also was on scene to assist. Fire officials say there were no injuries, but 4 pets did not make it. The City of Bradenton Fire Marshal is investigating this case. An update now on an armed bank robbery in Bradenton. Around 4 o'clock this afternoon, a white male suspect entered the Florida Central Credit Union on 9th Street West, armed with a handgun. That suspect fired 2 rounds into the ceiling and made a statement to it all being a bank robbery. He jumped the counter, stole money, and fled the scene in a dark-colored Nissan Altima. And then 30 minutes later, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office received a call of a suspicious person acting erratic on 33rd Avenue Drive East. Deputies identified the suspect, who had a handgun and a large amount of cash. The suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Julian Jimenez of Bradenton. He has been charged with armed robbery. And Charlotte County Sheriff's deputies have made an arrest in a deadly Englewood home invasion last summer. Investigators have been looking for Edwin Randall since last August. That's when deputies say 2 armed men entered a home on 11th Street, demanding cell phones and trying to remove a safe from a bedroom. There was a fight and one of those intruders was shot and killed. Investigators say Randall took off and escaped capture until now. A Florida man is pleading guilty for posing as a doctor when he was a teenager, stealing thousands of dollars from several victims, including an elderly patient. 20-year-old Malachi Love Robinson was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison today. Police say he stole more than $20,000 from an 86-year-old woman during a series of visits to her home. Love Robinson was arrested in 2016 after conducting an exam on a female undercover officer who went to his office complaining of feeling sick. Love Robinson must also repay his victims when he gets out of prison. And a human trafficking task force operating in Florida could be a national model because it focuses on more than just prosecution. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein says it's equally important to focus on victims to help them recover and encourage them to testify if necessary. He says the Justice Department prosecuted 553 human trafficking cases across the country in 2017. The task force is made up of several federal agencies, the Miami-Dade Police Department, and non-governmental groups that help victims. Well, stay with us. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast. Plus, major retail giants cutting thousands of jobs and stores despite the recent holidays, why they're struggling to keep up in the retail industry. And another E. coli outbreak in the U.S., what leafy green could be causing the infection.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story. Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Bob, I know we've been talking about how cold it is, but I want to reiterate what we were talking about earlier today and bringing your little pets inside, any animals that you have outdoors, or if you're taking them for a walk, even putting a little sweater on them if you have one.
I put mine, a sweater on my little dog this morning, actually yesterday, and then this morning she didn't want to have it on, and she was able to handle it. She was fine with it. Yeah, no problem. She was
braving the weather.
Get rid of that sweater. She didn't like it. But yeah, take care of the pets out there. Make sure they're indoors. This is our little grand pet. We're watching this for our stepdaughter, and this cute little teacup Chihuahua, Riley, is having a good time. Right? I tell you, just growing up. I think a couple of weeks old. I think 5 weeks old, I think, at this point. Here's a look now at some ospreys, too, that are back in town now. The osprey, this one was taken at Honore by Cindy Desmond. Appreciate those shots. And they're nesting, and a beautiful sunset tonight. Once again, this one from Andrea at Lido, and a beautiful shot it was. As far as the Lakewood Ranch webcam goes, lots of sunshine this afternoon, but not much heat. Temperatures only warmed into the mid to upper 50s. And tomorrow night we have Music on Main. Just bring a jacket and you're going to need it. It's going to be another cold night, but nothing that we can't handle. Looks like temperatures will be on the chilly side. And no real threat of any significant problem with wind chill, because the winds won't be all that strong. High pressure is going to build right over the top of us. Now a deep freeze possibly across North Florida right now. They're in a hard freeze zone just north of the Tampa Bay area basically until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then we're in a freeze, and what that means is a freeze warning. Temperatures will get down to 32 degrees in inland areas. Although the temperature has warmed up a little bit here along the coast, I still expect temperatures to be into the mid to upper 30s. The dew point temperature now at 42, but that could certainly change as winds become more northerly in time. Right now they're a little bit more northwesterly, and that's the reason why the dew point temperature is a little higher than the upper 30s. The high today was only 58 degrees. The low this morning was 35. 71 is our normal high. We'll get back to this number on Sunday. So we're going to wait a little longer before we start to get more back to average temperatures. By Sunday afternoon, we'll be in the low 70s. No rainfall to report today, and it will stay dry over the next 4 days. We'll see a chance for some showers late Monday and into early Tuesday. 32 already down to freezing in Tallahassee, 34 in Jacksonville, 53 in Miami, and temperatures a little bit colder inland. And that's the reason why that freeze warning is east of I-75, where temperatures are a little bit cooler. They're not getting the influence of that west to northwest wind, which keeps things a little bit warmer right near the coast. Although Venice now down to 47 degrees, 42 in Arcadia, 44 at Lake Placid, and 42 in Wauchula. The Gulf water temperature now at 60. On the forecast tomorrow, hourly forecast calling for lots of sunshine out there. Should be a nice sunny day, albeit cool. High temperatures will be in the upper 50s to mid 50s in places here along the Sun Coast. I mentioned that high pressure ridge is building back in now behind that massive winter storm, which continues to cause all sorts of problems up into Maine right now. This high pressure will dominate our weather right through the weekend. Then a cold front will move through, as I mentioned, a weak one at that on Monday night and Tuesday morning. Nationally, not a whole lot going on with the exception of that major storm over the Northeast. Right now it's 5 in Cleveland, 16 in the nation's capital now, 14 in Kansas City. And it feels like 2 there in Kansas City, minus 11 in Chicago, Cleveland minus 12, Toronto minus 25 degrees. That's the feels like temperature, and highs tomorrow will be into the single digits in places like Minneapolis, Detroit, and Toronto. Well, here's the forecast as things shake out for boaters tomorrow. A little bit better than it has been. It'll be breezy to start things off at 15 knots and seas running right around 2 to 4 feet with a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. And the water temperature you see right there starting to cool down to 60 degrees. And as far as the tides go, on your screen, here they are. The next high tide will be at 129 and a low tide at 957. Tonight, freeze inland mainly, 35 for a low near the coast to right around 40 degrees out at the beaches, and 58 for a high tomorrow. Still some patchy frost possible in the morning, and then the extended forecast looks like this. Temperatures cool through Saturday. Will start to warm up on Sunday, and a chance for showers late Monday and into early Tuesday. Now, we talked about it earlier. Captain Scott Moore brought us to the attention that, hey, the canals are getting cold and snook are having a hard time of it. In fact, he checked the temperature at the surface there. 51 degrees, and this video came in from Mr. Ed Walker. They were in a canal nearby, and get a look at all the snook gathered up. They're all kind of gathering up there as a result of the cold water temperatures, and it's so cold that even a couple of them had died right there. You see that right there, a couple of the snook already dying in some of the canals. Now, this is a little bit further north off of Pasco County, I believe, and up near Crystal River, they're reporting hundreds of pounds of snook have already died as a result of the cold water that is now moving in along west central Florida. Let's hope it's not like 2010 where they had to close down the season for at least a year there. And Captain Scott Moore suggesting when we get this kind of cold weather moving in, maybe we should stop fishing altogether. That's not a bad idea. Captain Alan Roth, though, before the cold there, this was on the first of the year, Magic Fishing Adventures catching that nice pompano for his client. Well, he caught it, the client did. Captain Rick Grassett, Maria getting this one. This is a bluefish using a fly rod. Nice one, Maria, from Illinois, catching that. And another pompano from Tight Lines, that comes from Rick Grassett. And this one from Beach Fishing Adventures. Steve says the snook have been really good prior to the cold weather, but now he's laying off the snook because you should too. You don't want any stress on those fish that they're trying to battle just to stay alive because of the cold water that's moved down in as a result of this cold air. Jacqueline?
Wow, okay, thank you so much, Bob. Well, the death toll from that massive winter storm called a bomb cyclone now stands at 6. Several states along the East Coast remain under states of emergency tonight. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in Riverhead, New York with more details.
The East Coast taking a beating from Mother Nature. The powerful nor'easter dumping up to 3 inches of snow an hour in the region. Some areas also hit with lightning, thunder, and even flooding. In Boston, fire trucks waded through floodwaters making rescues. In New York, mail trucks and buses were slipping and sliding. Driving conditions so treacherous, police kept busy pushing stranded drivers.
It's coming down so fast you're not able to clear, so underneath it's getting real icy. Plus you got people that shouldn't be out here driving.
The slick conditions also wreaking havoc at airports.
We're not sure if we're going to be flying out here anytime soon.
It's a mess. That's what I think.
Frustrations running high with more than 4,000 flights canceled across the country.
It's a nightmare.
The hardest hit, according to this misery map from FlightAware, D.C., Boston, and New York City, where LaGuardia and JFK airports first suspended, then shut down for most of the day. And the travel headaches far from over. LaGuardia has since resumed flights, but JFK says they won't be back in business until Friday morning, and already hundreds of more flights have been canceled for Friday. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Riverhead, New York.
President Donald Trump is planning a massive expansion of offshore drilling. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke announced today the administration wants to roll back a ban on new offshore drilling off the coasts of California and Florida. Zinke says the move would increase federal revenue by $15 billion. He also said it would free the U.S. from being forced to buy energy from foreign enemies. Environmental groups are calling the plan dirty, dangerous, and backward-looking. Lawmakers from several states are also pushing back. And in consumer news tonight, retail giant Macy's will cut 5,000 jobs and close 7 more stores in Florida, as well as 5 other states. The moves are part of a plan announced back in August of 2016 to close 100 stores. Altogether, Macy's has now revealed 81 of the 100 locations. Macy's is one of many traditional retail chains struggling for stability and stiff competition from online retailers. Macy's will likely start their liquidation sales starting on January 8th. And it's also closing time for another 39 Sears locations and 64 Kmart stores. Sears Holdings, which owns both Sears and Kmart, made the announcement today, expanding months of similar closings aimed at getting the company on solid financial footing. Closeout sales at the affected locations will begin next week, with all 103 locations being shut down by May. Sears Holdings says eligible associates will receive severance pay and have the chance to apply for open positions at remaining Kmart or Sears locations. Well, check your fridge because an E. coli outbreak is now being linked to leafy greens and romaine lettuce. Today, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that E. coli made 17 people across 13 states sick in late November and early December, and 1 person even died. The CDC says the source of the infection is still unknown. A similar strain caused an outbreak in Canada in early November through early December, with 41 people getting sick. The CDC says it is still investigating that outbreak. Well, stay with us. Sports is next, but first, here's what's coming up on Jimmy Kimmel.
Take a look at this and then discuss it with your friends.
I used to sleep with my basketball, actually. I used to lay down in bed and, like, did you get a new... I sound like a total geek.
I can understand that. That makes sense. You see, people
It doesn't make sense, but I appreciate it.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world.
All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking an account executive to join our winning sales team. This is an outside sales position covering the Tampa DMA. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Now, sports.
The red-hot Tampa Bay Lightning have yet to allow a goal during the team's current road trip. The Bolts in Montreal tonight trying to keep that streak going. 20 seconds into the second period, Max Pacioretty scores the first goal off the wrist shot. Score becomes 1-0 for the Canadiens. And then seconds later, Nikita Kucherov ties the game back up at 1 with the wrist shot. In the shootout period, Paul Byron gets that game-winning goal. The final score for the Canadiens win 2-1. And after capping a perfect 13-0 campaign in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl with a 34-27 victory over Auburn on New Year's Day, the UCF football team is still celebrating. The team will commemorate their championship-winning season with a parade at the Walt Disney Magic Kingdom Park this Sunday. The Knights will march down Main Street, USA to celebrate finishing the season as the only undefeated team in the football bowl subdivision. Current UCF football season ticket holders are also eligible for special priced admission to Magic Kingdom to attend that parade. And the New England Patriots not letting a powerful winter storm stop them from practicing today. Check out the players running through the high winds and snow to practice. The players relieved today's workout was actually inside later on in the team's field house. That's a look at sports tonight. We'll have your winning lotto numbers when we come back.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Being the caregiver for my husband is truly a blessing, but sometimes it's easy to lose a part of myself. To be my best, for him and for me, it's important to have time to be able to recharge. When I called Tidewell Hospice, they gave me the chance to do just that. They helped me find the time to care for myself, all the while with the peace of mind of knowing my husband is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
My California Closets designer is a rock star. She was able to design the most beautiful space for me. When I turn the lights on, it's breathtaking. It's just a little slice of organized heaven. The California Closet team was so professional, so reliable. It was seriously a dream come true. My name is Jill, and this is my California Closet story.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 78.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
All right, well, the weekend is almost here, but what can we expect for tomorrow?
Well, the next 24 hours looks like this. The day planner for Friday, we're looking for a very chilly start, as it has been, and will only warm into the mid-50s by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It won't be as windy. It should be really nice and sunny out there. And, of course, meteorologist John Scalzi will have much more on Good Morning Suncoast. He'll take a look at what's happening for the weekend as well.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Bob, and thank you all for joining us tonight. Stay warm and have a good one.
Don't forget your mittens.